Hello?
Yeah, can you see anyone? I'll text you.
Looks like it's, we have 10 people here so far. It's Tony Estredo and Chrissy Diaz with Marshall Reddick Real Estate. We're going to start the seminar in a few minutes. We're just going to give everybody a few more minutes to get into the webinar and get adjusted. We'll be starting soon.
Hi, everyone. We're just going to wait a few more minutes till more people join, and then we will get started. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We're still waiting as people are logging on. Hello, everyone. I wanted to welcome you all to our live event today in buying and selling here in Los Angeles County. Tony and I are both on the call here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start a little bit about myself, and then Tony will speak on himself. My name is Christy Dietz, and I have been part of Marshall Reddick since 1996. I started as an investor with Marshall Reddick, and then in 2000 became a Los Angeles agent for Marshall Reddick, as well as an instructor at all the community college and our events that we had. I moved to Los Angeles in 1995. So I came across Marshall Reddick just very soon after I moved to LA. I graduated from Florida State University with a BS in Business Economics and then a BA double major in English and Marketing Management. As I had said, I joined Marsha Reddick in 1996 as an investor. So I've been a realtor for over 23 years now, and I've sold over 500 properties. I have purchased 22 investment rental properties through Marsha Reddick, and I still have a very large portfolio today. I also work with builders, developers, and investors. I grew up on job sites with my dad being an engineer and a builder, so it's kind of like second nature to me. I have 2 children, which literally have been raised through Marsha Reddick. Dr. Marsha Reddick was actually even at my wedding. So my kids now are 19 and 23, and they're both in college. One going to be a lawyer, the other one going to be a doctor. So I do also volunteer for animal rescues, and I have 3 dogs currently, 2 of which are rescues.
And my name is Tony Soretto. I'm also a speaker on the presentation. I've been a licensed realtor since 2017. I joined Marsha Reddick shortly after obtaining my real estate license in 2019. My background is in real estate compliance and contract execution. I was born and raised in Southern California, and I'm knowledgeable in a variety of areas in Los Angeles, Pasadena, Northeast Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, West LA, San Gabriel Valley, and South Bay. Primarily, I've specialized in assisting buyers and sellers sell their primary residence up to 4 units. Like Christy, I'm a parent, newer parent. My daughter is 21 months, and it's been an exciting journey just starting off being a parent, while also just getting myself more familiarized with investment real estate through Marsha Reddick.
So Marsha Reddick Real Estate, we are multifaceted. Not only are we a full service real estate brokerage, we also have a very large property management company that manages over 2,600 homes. We also are a private money lender, and we are an investment fund manager. And I can say myself, as working with Marsha Reddick, I also use all of these services for my own investment portfolio, as well as helping you all to use these services. So we pick the real estate that we present to Marsha Reddick. We pick the real estate very carefully, using the demographics and geographical areas, and we provide everything from our real estate brokers, the contractors, property managers, and have complete top lender sources such as Reed Hazard, which we'll talk about at the end. We have CPAs, insurance agents, and everything that you can think of that would help you in the investment process. It's really like a one-stop shop, almost like a Home Depot of real estate, where you can just do everything all in-house. So we have multiple boots on the ground markets. All of these areas in the blue or the greenish blue are areas that we actually have boots on the ground offices. We have offices in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and Orange County and Riverside. And then in all over Texas and New Brunswick, the San Antonio area, Austin, and Houston. And then in the Nashville, Clarksville area, and also the Cape Coral area. You can see our staff here. We have a very large staff. We have over 150 employees with Marsha Reddick, and these are just some of our different offices. On the top right is our Los Angeles, Orange County office. You can see all the different offices around the United States that we work in: Texas, Florida, California, and Tennessee. So we are going to cover multiple topics today. We're going to be talking about Los Angeles proper and county. Believe it or not, Los Angeles County is very large, as you know. It's over 200 square miles, and there's 88 cities in Los Angeles. So there's such an opportunity to buy owner-occupied properties as well as investment properties. We're going to be talking about if now is a good time to buy or sell real estate. We're definitely in a little bit more of a seller's real estate market right now, but we definitely have a good sense on buying and getting some great deals buying as well. We're going to be talking about what home buyers and sellers need to know to get prepared and make sure you have everything ready to make offers right when you find a property. We'll talk about the current data and trends in the diverse LA housing market. We'll go into detail on what a 1031 exchange is and how to use it for investment property so you can avoid paying taxes. We'll speak about conventional and private financing options that make sense for you, whether it's owner occupied or investor. We're going to have some examples of primary residence and investment properties. And then we'll, of course, talk about our property management division for landlords.
So to start out, like Christy said, we're going to talk about what is going on in the housing market and what the housing market looks like in Los Angeles today. Here's a trend of the Los Angeles housing market in 2023. You'll see the Los Angeles home prices this year have actually been down by almost 10% compared to last year. The selling median price for single family residence is $950,000 this year. That is down 10%. On average, homes in Los Angeles sell after 39 days on market, which is actually a lot longer than we were seeing in these last 2 years. There are some attendees in the seminar that have been thinking about purchasing a property for a few years, and there are a few attendees in the seminar that have just given thoughts of purchasing the property. And in past years, we've seen property sell at a higher price, and we have actually seen them sell quicker than almost 2 months on the market. And in the next slides, we're going to go over active listings, closed listings, and the amount of listings that are currently available in the Los Angeles market. And this data is from our local MLSs, comes from InfoSparks. We're going to go over basically the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles in comparison to the entire multiple listing service, and we're going to go 1 year back from today. So as you can see, for active listings, the city of Los Angeles, because it is so much, it isn't as large as the county itself, it's going to have a lower amount of active listings than the county and in the entire MLS. And as you can see, the current active listings are down in comparison to the beginning end of 2022 and into 2023. And this slide is the closed listings in Los Angeles. You can see that closings in the city are actually on a downward trend, making our listings more desirable. We have a lot more people looking to purchase in Los Angeles than we have seen in a very long time. And that is also leading to higher than usual prices. I know our prior slide said that prices were down by 10%, but Los Angeles is just one of those areas, specifically the city, where values do retain, and they do remain the same for the most part. And here's just going to be a little bit about the days on market. Days on market, you can see that they're currently spiking downwards, and that is because of the amount of active listings that we have in comparison to the desirability of Los Angeles. Los Angeles, again, is a very desirable area to purchase real estate at, and the less closings that we have, like we saw on the other slides, the quicker they're going to sell for and the higher dollar amount that they're going to sell for, because it all goes back to supply and demand. Here's a little bit about the Los Angeles average sales price. Again, as you can tell, prices are spiking upwards on our data trends this year. We had a little bit of a downward trend in 2022 because of the interest rate spikes, but you can see that the market is actually correcting itself and picking back up in Los Angeles. We are seeing lower days on market. We're seeing less active listings, which is making the prices go up little by little. And we are speculating that that trend is going to continue into 2024. And this is just a little bit of saying that we have, Marshall Reddick, homeowner wealth is 40 times higher in home ownership than it is that of renters. That's also a quote by NORS, the National Association of Realtors. And this is actually a question that we get asked a lot of the times, and that is it a good time to buy real estate? And there are plenty of different ways to answer that question. But how I usually answer that question is by asking the same question: is it good to buy real estate and wait, or is it better to wait and then buy the real estate? Usually in Los Angeles, it's better to buy the real estate and wait, because as we saw in the earlier slide, availability of properties that are on the market to purchase are continuously decreasing. Days on market are decreasing, and prices are going up. So it's always a lot better to buy the real estate in Los Angeles and wait for the appreciation to grow. When we are considering to purchase real estate, there are a lot of things to think about. These next slides are going to go into a little bit of detail of what you want to think about when purchasing real estate. You want to ask yourself about market conditions. You want to research the local real estate market, and you want to understand what is going on in that market. In Los Angeles, it is very pockety, and things change in less than a mile. So it's really good to find a local realtor that knows the market, so that you can get the answers to the questions that you're looking for. Interest rates, monitoring interest rates. I'm sure you guys have been listening to the news, and we're always hearing new things about the Fed and interest rate hikes recently. So interest rates are definitely something that we want to monitor. Our affordability, assessing our financial situation. And like Christy mentioned earlier in our webinar, we have an awesome lender, Reed Houser, with CMG Financial, who is here to help assess the financial situation that is unique to everybody thinking about purchasing real estate. Our long-term plans, thinking about, are we going to purchase this property to live in long-term, or is this going to be more of a short-term investment purchase opportunity? Location. Again, location is going to determine a lot of different things. So location. It's one of the oldest sayings in real estate. And just consulting with professionals. So consulting with somebody that's able to talk to you about market conditions, interest rates, affordability, location, and just really understanding you and your needs is definitely something to consider when you're thinking about purchasing real estate. So with all of that, where do you start? As a first-time home buyer with all of these things, where can you start? And the answer to that question is here. You're already here. You're on our webinar. You're listening to Christy and I talk about purchasing real estate in Los Angeles. You're connecting with a Marshall Real Estate Realtor. After this, we can also connect you with our CMG mortgage professional, Reed Houser, just to assess financing options. And when you work with us, when you work with Reed and I and Christy to plan out your home buying roadmap, those are the 3 steps that you'll basically need to take in order to get you to purchase your first property in Los Angeles. And these are a few of the services that we offer when assisting our clients purchasing a property, starting with listening and understanding to your needs, right? So we can't really get anywhere unless somebody is listening to us and taking the time to assess what we're looking for, so that they know, or so that I know and Christy knows what to look for when thinking of helping you purchase the property. Another thing that we do is we are very knowledgeable. Marshall Reddick possesses a lot of in-depth knowledge and offers a lot of education. So that way, we can advise you accurately when you're thinking of purchasing a property. Showings, we coordinate showings for the consumer. We make ourselves available to arrange the appointments, to help get consumers, our clients, provide insights about properties, provide information about the features, potential drawbacks to condominium complexes or neighborhoods, or anything you might want to know about the neighborhood. We don't ever want to, help you purchase a property or get you into a property and then hear, well, if I would have only known, because that means that we weren't here to answer all of your questions when you were purchasing the property. And one of the things that Christy and I really want to do is answer all of your questions to make sure that you're comfortable and confident when purchasing the property. Other things that help Marshall Reddick Realtors stand out is just our negotiation ability. We are trained professionals in negotiation. We, negotiate lots of investment contracts, investment opportunities, whether it's with our investment fund or, when we're out in the field negotiating contracts. What we do is aim to secure the best possible price and terms for our clients, so that way everybody is happy at the closing table. In closing process, my background is in compliance and contract execution. And what we do is we'll coordinate with all of the parties involved in the transaction, escrows, lenders, title companies, home inspectors. There's so many different professionals in a real estate transaction. So it is very beneficial when you have somebody like Christy and myself that has been through the process thousands and thousands of times, because they're able to make the closing process just seamless, painless, stressless, and that is invaluable in real estate. Doesn't always go that way. And even post-purchasing support. We're not just going to help you get into your first property in Los Angeles and then, say bye. Even after the purchase, we offer continued support. We stay in communication, and we provide assistance. And, we're here to answer any other questions that you might have after closing. And we can also provide recommendations for local service providers. We can offer advice on maintenance and upkeep. We can assist with future real estate needs as well, such as investing in one of our out-of-state markets. We can help you with investing capital in our Marshall Reddick Real Estate Fund or other private lending opportunities. And then just to conclude a little about the home buying process, it's just a chart. This is a chart that goes over, the whys, the who's, where's, how's, and it covers what we just talked about. So goal setting, right? Listening and understanding, evaluating, deciding on a time frame, setting up your criteria. That way, when we're going through our home tours, we already know what you're looking for. We can rule out what you're not, and we don't waste your time by sending you properties that you probably won't be interested in. Identifying markets, being knowledgeable and analyzing the market, so that way you can make a very good decision when purchasing the property. And then just introducing you to all of the key players in the transaction and post-closing, closing services. And with all of that, I'll then hand it off to Christy, who's going to talk about value add and different investment opportunities.
Great. Thanks, Tony. So one of the things I want to talk to you about too is, aside from Tony and I being a Los Angeles area agents for Marshall Reddick, we also can help you with out-of-state purchases. In example, I am selling a property for Marshall Reddick. I'm an investment property for a Marshall Reddick seller right now, and then I just was able to get them secured into 2 duplexes in Texas. And once we sell their property here locally, they will 1031 the money into that property, which we'll talk a little bit about that later in our 1031 section. But the point is you can do a lot with an investment property and branch it into more and more. They're going to change one property for 4 more doors. Now, this property is an amazing opportunity. I actually helped project manage this property. It's 3 homes on a lot. And my investor client actually bought the main house here, and it had a 2-car garage. The lot is a very large lot, almost 15,000 square feet. So what he did, and I assisted with, is he got together with a contractor and engineer, and he permitted for 2 ADUs. They consider it an ADU and a junior ADU, even though both ADUs are 1,200 square feet. So behind this house, he was able to build an additional 2 brand new accessory dwelling units, ADUs, 1,200 square foot each, and 2 more 2-car garages. So now this property, when it was originally just a main house and a 2-car garage, it's now a main house that's approximately 1,700 square feet. There's 1 ADU that's 1,200 square feet and another ADU that's a junior ADU that's 1,200 square feet with 3 2-car garages. So how does this benefit you? This is for sale right now for $2.1 million, which seems like a lot when you look at it, but it's in an excellent neighborhood, a great area. But you can live in the main house, and then the 2 additional rental houses are rented out for quite a large amount. I believe they're rented for $3,650 each. So therefore, you'd have like $7,200 in rental income, and you can live in the main house. So what that means to you is that you are basically paying $700,000 a door, and it's really hard to even find a property for $700,000 right now in the Valley that's all brand new, remodeled, granite, 2-car garage, great neighborhood, and everything like that. And so one of the things is how we help you in the Los Angeles market is we show you things that we ourselves would buy, and almost like I always say, I live vicariously through all of you. We're also talking about, and we were talking a little bit before about buying property too, and is it a good time to buy? I feel like real estate's always a good time to buy. In all the years I've bought all my investment properties, I've bought it every time in the market. I bought my property on Siesta Key in Florida at the height of the market. I bought it in 2005 when the market was at its peak. I still have that property today because with the rule of 72, everything doubles every 10 years. So your property is always going up. And we're a little different in LA here because there's not enough housing. So almost anything you buy, if you just hold the property, it keeps going up in value. Like even the house that I live in here in Woodland Hills, I originally bought it for $306,000. It was a foreclosure. And then I put a lot of money, hundreds of thousands into it, but now it's worth $1.6 million. So at the time I bought it at market and people even said I overpaid for it, but everything just keeps going up and up over time. And I know a lot of you think, oh my gosh, the interest rate's so high, I don't want to spend that much money for an interest rate. But the great thing you can do is you can, and again, you can talk to Reed about this, but you can get a loan at the current rates and even just do an interest-only loan for 3 to 5 years. And then when the interest rates come down again, you can refinance. Because I can tell you, every single one of my properties, I've refinanced them many, many times. And a lot of my rental properties I bought at 7 and 8% interest rate. So if any of you guys remember, in the early and mid 2000s, the interest rates were 7 and 8% back then as well. But that didn't deter anyone from buying. And if you bought that time, you know, the property values are way up. I mean, you would agree that the property values from 2002 to now are way up from what they were. But yet the interest rates were 7 and 8% back then as well. So is it a good time to sell real estate? Well, how you determine that are various factors, including all the market conditions and circumstances. And we looked at some graphs before, and we're definitely in a seller's market right now. With the supply and demand, there's not enough housing on the market available for the amount of buyers that are wanting to buy. So we're not too far from a neutral market, but at this point, that's where we're at. I think a lot of people that got the 2 and 3% interest rates, they're just kind of holding tight with that. But there's always people that are selling. People are moving out of area, they're changing jobs, they need to move up to a bigger property. Maybe they've just had a baby, maybe they're getting divorced, they've had a life circumstance change, maybe they want to move. A lot of these houses with ADUs that I work with clients is their parents are getting older and they want to move their parents into the ADU, and then their parents' income helps supplement the ADU, and they live in the main house. So there's a lot of things that you can do as far as purchasing and selling real estate. So we look at when selling real estate, we want to look at the market conditions, and right now it's an excellent time for listing a property or selling. A lot of times you get offers over asking, and properties sell within 2 weeks. You also want to look at what equity you have in the property, and if you would sell now, would you be at a profit or a loss? Are you owner occupied in that property? If you are, a single person gets a $250,000 tax-free, $500,000 tax-free as a married couple. You also have to look at your motivations. What's your personal circumstances for closing? The timing in the market, we've talked about that. The market is not going to stay a seller's market forever. We always know what goes up comes down, what goes down must come up. So eventually it will switch to a buyer's market again, but right now it's just a bit of a seller's market going into a neutral market. But it's great to always buy. Like I said, I buy at all times of the market. I'm in the process now to sell one of my rental properties in Hawaii, and I'll give that example when we go to the 1031. You always want to work with people that are professionals, and the good thing with Marsha Reddick agents and like Tony and myself is I do just what you do. I own investment properties. I own my own home to live in, and I do what you do. And I use all the same services of Marsha Reddick, just like you use the same services. Okay, so what are some of the things on selling a home? When we sell a home, again, we have to look at your personal needs. And I always say we're not just selling the property to the buyers are out there, we're also selling the property to the buyer's agent and the community. And in a way, selling you too on what you need to do to get your house ready. You know, do you need to do paint? Do you need to touch up the front door? Do you need to replace your gutters? I see a lot of people right now have plastic on the roof. Do you need to fix the leak in your roof? A lot of these things need to be done before you list a property for sale, and just understanding exactly what you need and what your goals are. Maybe you live in a condo right now and you say, well, Christy, I live in a condo, but we're planning on having a baby, so it's not going to work to live here. And most likely, knowing me, I'll say, well, let's keep your condo, turn that into a rental, and then let's see if we can get you into something new. And for those of you who are single, one of the best things you can do is buy a 1 or 2 bedroom condo, live in it for a year or two, turn that into a rental, then go buy a 2 or 3 bedroom condo, live in that a year or two, turn that into a condo, and keep getting bigger and bigger. And within 8 to 9 years, you have 5 properties if you keep the last property and turn it into a rental. It's like a great thing. Another thing you can do is with your existing home is add on an ADU out of your garage or build one from scratch. And we have the resources to be able to help you to do that. Presentation's very important when you're selling your home. I always have people refresh their front yard, put some flowered pots at the front door, paint their front door. Sometimes we use staging. Knowing the market and the schools and the location and all those things are very important. A lot of people go to like Zillow and Trulia and Redfin to get information, but the thing is that those are third-party applications and they're not always accurate. The only accurate is True MLS and Realtor.com, which is brought to you from MLS. Obviously, when selling your home, and aside from doing the full-on marketing and videos and photos and getting it on all the social media sites, we also negotiate the closing process for you and help you all the way through the transaction to the end. And most of the time when you're selling something, you're buying something else. So we're either helping you get something else here in LA or in other states. Okay, so what's the home selling process? Well, the first thing is preparing your house for market. We talked a second ago about curb appeal, making sure that everything looks great, walking up to your house, finishing repairs and maintenance. I went and saw a lady yesterday that is needing to sell her house because of she's getting divorced. So we went through her house. A lot of the molding has been ripped off inside her house. She has plastic on her roof because there's been a leak. So then she has some damage to her ceiling. She has a broken step in the front of their house from a tree that fell down during the storms. So all these things are things that we would get repaired. And I have a 14-page worker list, so I'll help her get those things repaired prior to listing the property, because you don't want to have all of that showing when you have it for sale, and also that will all get called out in a physical inspection as well. So you want to get most of those things repaired prior to going on the market. And then sometimes, depending on the interior of the house, if it's vacant or not, we consider staging. So, and then once we list the property, we do open houses. Online advertising is important. I feel like social media is very important, especially LinkedIn campaigns and TikTok, Snapchat, just every single Facebook, Instagram is very important. Having professional photography, if your home's a bigger home, having a drone, having video, a website, all of that is really important to do. And then when we are showing properties, I always give my clients a weekly report on Wednesdays where I tell them everyone who's been to the house, the open houses, what advertising, how many people have viewed it online, what was the feedback on the house, is the price too high, too low, what are the problems people are having, and what things do people love about the house. And those are very important to overcome objections. Then once we do get offers on the house, and a lot of times in this market, we get multiple offers, it's handling all the offers and negotiating and almost working each offer against each other to get the price higher and higher. Due diligence and escrow, making sure that everything runs smoothly, doing all the disclosures, getting all your paperwork in time, having your retrofit inspection, which is required for LA City, making sure that everyone works together as a team to get everything closed and done for you. And whether you're moving into, sometimes, like I have another one that's in escrow right now where we're doing a concurrent close because my client can't close escrow on his place until he finds a new place. And so we negotiated with the buyer to do a concurrent close. So they both close at the same time so that the seller is not out of a place to live. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is 1031 exchanges, which applies only to investment properties. You do not need to do an exchange when it's your owner occupied home. And I know a lot of people are kind of new to 1031 exchanges and not sure how it works or when you use it and when you don't. A 1031 exchange is used when you have an investment property. And I'm going to give you an example of myself, what I'm doing right now, because again, I do everything the same way you do everything. And I'm telling you this my story or example, not to impress you, but just to impress upon you what you can do with real estate. And I have a property in Hawaii, a townhome with an ocean view that I've had for about 22 years. I've had the same tenant in it. The rent should be higher than it is. It needs to be remodeled, but the bottom line is I'm going to sell the property, of which I'm making $1,800 a month in rent, and I'm going to buy 3 doors with that same property. So how can I do that? How I can do that is I do what's called a 1031 exchange. I have about $400,000 equity in the property in Hawaii, and I have about $120,000 loan on it. So you have to carry the loan over to the new property, and then I can exchange all of the $400,000 into new properties and not pay any taxes. Now, if I would just sell that property outright, I'd be subject to 35–40% tax on the $400,000, which would be a lot of money, right? I'd be losing hundreds of thousands of dollars paying the government. But if you 1031 exchange using an asset 1031 exchange company, which we work with Asset Preservation, Dino Champagne, and you just exchange at the close of escrow after you sell it, you exchange that property into new properties. So I'll be able to get, and the reason why you do this is because you can take your equity and you can buy many more properties with that equity. So what my plan is to buy a duplex in Texas and buy a single family home in Sarasota, where I'd like to retire in the future. So I can rent that meanwhile, and then in the future I can move into that house because to satisfy the 1031. So what are the characteristics of 1031 exchange? Well, one of the things is you have to have a like kind of property. If I sell a property, or if you sell a property for $500,000, well, the new properties that you buy, you can buy one or you can buy multiple. They have to be over the $500,000 sales price, or whatever you sell it for. It just has to be slightly more than what you sold, okay? You can tax defer the money. So you defer the capital gains taxes that you would pay by transferring the money. You don't touch it at all. If you touch it, it's called a boot. So that's why you use an asset company that does the 1031 for you, and they transfer the money from one property to your new properties that you're purchasing. And again, people say, oh, well, you know, do I want to sell now? If I sell now, it's a seller's market, but then I want to buy in a low market. Well, if you sell high, you buy high. If you sell low, you buy low. So it really doesn't matter at all when you're doing 1031s, because you're just exchanging into new properties, and you'll end up getting more rental income and more doors. So for example, the one I just gave you, if I'm getting $1,800 on one property and now I'm going to buy a duplex that gets $1,700 on each side, that's $3,400, and then I'm going to buy another house in Sarasota that maybe gets like $2,500 rent. So I'm increasing my rent income from $1,800 a month to, let's see, what is that? $2,500, roughly $5,000 a month, or a little more, $6,000 a month, almost $6,000. So I'm going from $1,800 in rental income to almost $6,000 in rental income, but yet with still the same loan. So this is how you build your wealth to make more and more income, passive income, to be able to retire on. So the only strict timelines is once you sell your property, you have 45 days to identify and get into escrow on a new one. You must, however, you have 6 months to close that property. So you must identify a new property within 45 days of closing the last one, which really you kind of have 90 days, because once you put your property in the market, you can start looking right away. And as soon as it sells, you get another 45 days from there. And again, you use a third party, an intermediary called a 1031 company to accommodator to do that for you. Get to the next screen here. There you go. Oh, sorry, I went one too fast. Okay. So when would you want to utilize a 1031 exchange, a tax deferred exchange? You want to increase your portfolio, like portfolio just diversification. Maybe you own property in another state, but you want to buy more properties here in Los Angeles. Maybe you want to buy apartments. Maybe you want to buy a duplex or a triplex. So it's to diversify your portfolio. Another thing, maybe you want to upgrade a property. Maybe the property that you own now is older and it's starting to need a lot of repairs, and you want to exchange that for a newer property or a better property. Sometimes you own a property and the area starts going bad around you, so you want to get into a better location. So that's another reason why. And we have this amazing Marsha Reddick property rating ebook that we can send you, and it has amazing information on there on location and property classes and demographics and areas and why we're in the different areas we're in. You also can use the 1031 exchange to consolidate or expand your investment portfolio. Like maybe you have 10 rental houses and you want to just buy a 20 unit or 30 unit apartment building. So you can do that to expand or consolidate your current investment portfolio as well. But that's 1031 is a great way to build wealth. So here's a recent 1031 that I just did in Agoura Hills. This was an investment property for my Marsha Reddick client, and we sold this property for $620,000. And I don't remember what his loan was originally on this, but I want to say his loan was about $150,000. Well, we were able to 1031 him into an additional property, a new property, a duplex, where he was able to actually live in one. It's called a partial 1031 exchange, so you can do that as well. He's actually able to live in one half of the duplex and then still have the other half of the duplex as rental income and not having to come out of any money out of pocket to do this. So this was a great way for him, because he's 75 now, so this was a great way for him to sell a property, buy a duplex in Northern California, which we found, and then go ahead and be able to live in one half of it and not pay any taxes on it and not come out of pocket any money at all. He was able to just exchange the money right into the new property. One of the programs I want to talk about, it's a great program here in Los Angeles right now. I'm doing one of these right now. It's called a LIPA program. It's a low income purchase assistance program. The city of LA, if you're considered low income, which is very easy to qualify, because you can see right here, if one person makes under $70,000 a year, you can qualify for the LIPA program. And the particular client I'm working with right now, he's a young guy in his early 20s. He's graduated college. He has a professional career. He makes under $70,000 a year, And the city of LA allows you to put only 1% down payment, and the city gives you 29% down payment. So basically you're putting 30% down and only doing a 70% loan, and you get into a great property. And this particular guy that I'm working with who's using this program, he's like I said, he's just out of college, professional career. He's putting only 1% down payment on a $360,000 one-bedroom, one-bath condo in a nice area of Winnetka that's all remodeled, and all he has to come out of pocket is 1%. So there's a bunch of great programs. We don't have a slide on it, but there's an FHA program where you can put 3.5% down or 5% down, and you can also get gift money to make that purchase. So if you have a family member that wants to gift you money, you can get into a property on FHA as well, and we do a lot of those. And Tony will talk about some of this next. He's going to talk about some of the VA and FHA, some of the other loan programs that we have. Okay, Tony.
Thank you so much, Christy. That was a lot of really good information that you just shared about selling the property, and then tons of really good information about 1031ing and a lot of really good examples too. And like you said, we're going to get into lending opportunities and different kind of loan programs that our preferred lender, Reed Hazard with CMG Mortgage, can offer. This is just a little bit about Reed. As an area manager for CMG Financial, he specializes in purchases and refinance loans for investment property and primary residence, 1 to 4 units. The nationally ranked loan officer. Seasoned real estate investors owned the company for, tons of years. Just like Christy, has purchased multiple investment properties through the company and does use the same resources that we are talking to you about today. Purchased his first property at 19 years old and has worked with thousands of Mortgage Ready clients and is licensed in each state that we operate in as well. And we'll be able to share his contact information with you towards the end of the webinar. And it all starts, purchasing property all starts with getting pre-approved. I cannot begin to express the importance and to stress the importance of getting pre-approved up front. And that means, getting your pay stubs or your 1099, whatever kind of income documentation you have to provide. You can do that online, or you can also do that over the phone. A credit report that is pulled, so your credit will be pulled when you're going through the process of getting pre-approved. Usually now, post 2008, there are automated underwriting system and AUS system. So everything is done through the computer. There's no more human reviewing loan applications and approving you. It's all done automatically. Again, they're going to review your tax returns, bank statements, and an underwriter will confirm the accuracy of all of the documentation that you are providing to them, so that way they can give you an accurate pre-approval letter that myself and Christy can go ahead and use when selling your purchase offer to different real estate agents and sellers, so that we can get you into the property that you'd like. This is just a generic sample of a CMG pre-approval letter. It's very formal, so on letterhead, date, subject, it goes over price, it goes over the entire down payment amount, the entire loan amount as well, and the type of financing that you're going to be using. When purchasing a primary residence in Los Angeles, the 3 most common types of financing are conventional financing, first-time homeowner financing, FHA. That's through the first-time homeowner administration, FHA. And there's also VA funding, veteran, which is for veterans, and we'll get into that a little later. So starting with conventional loan programs, the limit for a conventional conforming loan amount is $726,000. I think that might have actually been increased a little bit recently. And now we're going to talk about why you might want to do conventional financing versus an FHA and VA. You may get a better interest rate. Now, everybody is different, and everybody's financial situation is different. So generally, we see interest rates, a better interest rate for higher credit tier borrowers. They have lower down payment options for primary residences. They have some of the best loan programs available for investment property. And there are little to no reserves required on primary residences. And another word for reserves are savings. Savings, which is money that you have in the bank after your down payment to purchase the property. And there are different down payment, assistance options that are available, just like the one Christy talked about, LIPA. You have a few other down payment assistance programs that the state comes out with frequently. And we can provide you with more examples of that later on in the webinar or after the webinar. The VA loans, part of the VA loan is through the GI Bill. Reason why it is an attractive loan product is because it is 100% financing, and there is usually not any mortgage insurance, which is an example of a premium. The difference between a VA and an FHA is that with the FHA loan, there is a high premium, whereas in VA, there may be no premium. A VA loan, you can only use it for primary residences. You cannot use it for an investment property. W-2 or self-employed is both okay with the program. It's an unlimited loan amount. And if you do have a less than desirable credit score under 640, you may be able to find a good interest rate through a VA loan program, but you do have to be a veteran in order to utilize your VA loan. And I believe you are only allowed to use the VA loan one time. It is not an unlimited amount of times. We have FHA financing, which I have talked a lot about in this webinar, which is great for first-time home buyers, especially with home buyers that have challenges on their credit report, so less than desirable credit scores. An FHA loan product may help get you into the property sooner than waiting for your credit score to go up and then using a conventional loan product. FHA does like to see primary residences only. That does not mean that you can't go and buy a duplex using an FHA loan program. It's very common that we see our first-time home buyers using an FHA loan with a low down payment amount, and what they do is they actually live in one of the units, and then they actually hire Marshall Reddick to help manage and get the second unit rented out. And what that does is it offsets your total mortgage amount because you have the second unit occupied by a tenant that's paying market rent. Common down payment with FHA is 3.5% down. And the duplex example that I gave you is also available with only 3.5% down payment. Reed and I can go over the county loan limits. Loan limits vary throughout California. Los Angeles does have a higher loan limit than the majority of the other California markets. And down payment assistance options are available for FHA financing as well. Borrowers, so this is just a down payment requirement for investment property, and this is just going to be for FHA programs. So for one unit with 85% down, 85% finance, 15% down with 645 FICO, and this is just for investment property. This isn't for your primary residence or a live-in-one rent out, the other example that I just gave you. This is just going to be for investment property opportunities that CMG can help you with. And then for 2 to 4 units, there are loan products with 75% finance, only going 25% down if you do have 640 FICO, lower FICO score. And this is just a little bit about our private financing program. So a little earlier, Christy did mention that we have a mortgage fund, and we also originate investment loan opportunities for the public and to purchase into. There are 2 current loan options that are available at 70% loan to value or LTV rate. The contacts to get more information on these investment opportunities. If you're not interested in the brick and mortar investment opportunities that Marshall Reddick has are below. Stephanie Miller and Patrick Prunty. It's the Director of Private Lending for Marshall Reddick, and also his co-director, Stephanie Miller, who can go over these investment options for you. Again, these aren't a brick and mortar, so there are no homes that you're directly investing into, but you are going through our fund, which is directly tied to real estate investment and brick and mortar, so real estate property. And this is just a little bit about Marshall Reddick Property Management. One of the things that Marshall Reddick does offer is professional property management services. And that is where we cover everything from A to Z, really. So what we do with property management, we'll take the initial walkthrough, we'll get a tour from you, we'll go over what you know about the property, what you know needs to be fixed. We'll give you our recommendations on what you may want to do and what you may want to fix in order to net the most amount of rent. We can also help coordinate with contractors, so that way the repairs are done, what we call make-ready repairs. We will assist you with the make-ready repairs to get the property ready for marketing. We do have a preferred photography company that we'll use in order to get professional photos. And from there, we'll help with identifying any potential future tenants. We'll screen, run credits, do background checks, get to know the people that are interested in the property, so that we're not just putting a complete stranger into the home. We're going to be putting good quality tenants into your properties, and to figure out how to purchase an investment property that would attract a high quality tenant. We would go ahead and recommend obtaining a copy of the Marshall Reddick ebook that goes over everything that we know about investment or identifying and purchasing rental property. And this is just a slide about our property management fees. You can also find all of this information on our website, depending on what market you're in, whether it's the Los Angeles, Bay Area, Florida, Texas, Tennessee markets. Prices do vary, but this being for Los Angeles, you can see our lease renewal fee at 15% of the market rate. A late fee that is split with the tenant, a leasing fee of 50% of the first month's rent. And right below there, you'll see the percentages for single family residential homes, and then 1 to 4 unit properties, 2 to 4 unit, 5 to 15 unit buildings, and the percentages that vary depending on the type of property that you have. And on our last slide is just, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. It's not coming up here. I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, there it is. All right. So on our last slide here, we just wanted to let you know that we have, if you go to marshallreddick.com, we have tons of educational videos there, articles and guides. You can find our property rating ebook there, which is kind of like our gold standard to knowing how and what to invest in properties. There is a event section, which you would have gone on to sign up for our live event. There's an amazing learn section. You just go into education and you can pull up this video and any other videos on any subject by just putting in the search. If you want to see a video on 1031 exchanges, you just put in 1031 and all the most recent 1031 exchange events that we've held will come up. We would love to help you. Again, here is Tony's information and my information. Tony is located in the Pasadena area, and he handles from Burbank, Pasadena, all the way down through downtown LA, the mid area of Los Angeles, all the way down into Torrance, Hermosa Beach, Long Beach. And then for myself, I'm located in Woodland Hills, California, and I handle all of the San Fernando Valley. I can take you up to Ventura, Oxnard, all over the Santa Clarita area, as well down into West LA, Santa Monica, Culver City, Playa del Vista, Playa del Rey, any of those areas. We are very, very grateful that you came on to our live event today, and we would love to help you either purchase a property in Los Angeles County or surrounding areas, or out of state. If you're looking to purchase, we can be a real estate advisor for you on purchasing some of our out of state properties, or to help you sell a property here in Los Angeles County. Like I said, I've been a realtor for 23 years, and I've sold over 500 properties with Marshall Reddick clients, and I would really love to help you. And I know Tony would as well, and he's very versed and experienced in sales of buying and selling and investment properties as well. So we want to just thank you again for coming, and we'll reach out to you again to see how we can help. And again, you can reach us at my numbers below, 818-694-0740 or christy.dietz@marshareddick.com. And then Tony can be reached at 323-695-2566, as well as his email right below his name. So thank you so much, and look forward to helping you and talking with you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.